Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Hogwarts Legacy, and I'm going to be giving you my top 5 tips for beginners in this game. So, I've been playing this a lot, and I've figured out quite a few things about the game already that I would like to share with you. And so, let's get to it. But before we do, a quick word from this video sponsor, the Holwick Wand Company. Today's video is brought to you by the Holwick Wand Company, the link for which you will find in this video's description. If you are a Harry Potter fan and you've always wanted to have your very own wand, not a replica of a character's wand from the movies, not some cheap plastic crap from a sweatshop in China, but a genuine handmade solid wooden wand, then the Holwick Wand Company is the answer to your dreams. Every single wand is 100% custom and handmade, so no two will ever be the same. Each wand is hand carved from only the highest quality wood and guaranteed to be from the exact species as advertised. Other custom wand companies crank out the same identical designs or buy birch doubles in bulk before turning them on a lathe, but not the Holwick Wand Company. From the selection process by their master forester to the crafting process of their master wand maker, every step is completed with diligent and loving care and attention to detail. So if you're in the market for a new wand, check them out today. Again, that link is in the description. And so, like we've said, that code for the discount is going to be DTG10, and that'll be down in the pinned comment down below. And I recommend checking it out. So, a great sponsor, very thankful for them helping out the channel, and I do quite enjoy their product. So, with all that in mind, let's get right into the meat of this video. So, this is going to be top 5 tips for beginners, so let's just start off with number 5. And that tip is one that I should think would be pretty simple, but I feel like a lot of people miss it out, especially early game, and that is to get used to using the spell Revelio all the time. Get used to using it. Basically, anytime you enter a room you haven't been in before, toss that bad boy off, because it just is incredibly useful. So throughout the game, there are a lot of things, and early on you're going to be given your field guide, which is kind of, well, it's your pause menu for one thing, but it's also the way that you're supposed to catch up as a 5th year student to all the other students, you know. And so throughout the game, there are tons of pages and locations and all sorts of stuff that you're supposed to learn about. And the way that you are shown those things is by using Revelio. And it's also something that reveals side activities.
Confringo!
Like that, which is a side activity that gives you a field page. And so,
Revelio.
Every time you enter any new area, you should be tossing out Revelio a couple times, just to see if there's any locations to discover, any side activities hidden in there, any chests that'll have valuable loot, all sorts of stuff. And if you get used to using it just kind of like a reflex, so that you don't have to think about it, but just every time you enter an area, you're like, oh, let's see what's here. It makes it much more organic than having to then come back to all these locations later and start, you know, artificially looking for everything. I find that it is just genuinely more enjoyable to do it all in the moment
Revelio.
when you're exploring a place for the first time to figure it out. So like I said, that's tip number 1. It's very simple. Just get used to casting Revelio all the time and use it to find all of those hidden things throughout the world that you need to progress. So that is tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to focus on clothing as it improves your stats, so offense and defense. So I know a lot of people's general instinct with a game like this is to make yourself look cool, right? It's to focus on items that look cool. Well, you don't have to in Hogwarts Legacy. In Hogwarts Legacy, you should legitimately just pick whatever item you have that gives you the highest stat. And you can see over here, it'll have the name up top, then it'll have the grade of it, and basically the only difference is your extraordinary or legendary items, you can upgrade more slots into them, and you can't even do that early game anyway, so I don't recommend focusing on it too much. But generally speaking, if you've got, let's say, a well-appointed and an extraordinary item that are the same, they give you the same offensive boost, then I would go with the extraordinary one, because down the line you're going to be able to upgrade it. But anyway, really all you need to focus on with these clothing items, especially early game, is that little thing to the left in the second category. So on here it says offense, and it'll have a little icon and say 74. So that's the boost that you get for that one. For face wear, it'll be a defense boost, and so you'll see we get 63 there. That's really the only thing you should focus on, no matter how ridiculous the clothing items look. And the reason for that is because the appearance and the stats of items don't need to be the same. You can see that when you hover over a piece of clothing or anything in this screen, down at the bottom of the little icon or the information page that shows up is the Change Appearance tab. And if you press that, you can make whatever item you're wearing either look like nothing, which I do with the hats and glasses and stuff because I don't like the way they look, generally, or like a scarf for this outfit, you can make them look like absolutely anything. So once you have picked up a piece of clothing into your inventory, you do not need to keep it. You can sell it. It doesn't matter because you will immediately then have access to that visual mod for the rest of the game. Along with focusing on stats for your clothing, that also means you don't need to keep multiple items. And you have a relatively small inventory starting off, so you're going to want to make sure that you are frequently taking your clothing to the to Hogsmeade and selling it as you get it, because you do not need to hoard it. And like I said, you can make any item look like any item, so there's no reason to sacrifice stats for fashion in this game. And so I say definitely do not do that. Make sure you are focusing on the highest stat boosts because they make you a lot more effective in combat. So that's tip number 2. Don't worry if a hat looks ridiculous. You can just make it look invisible or make it look like a different hat. Just go for the best stats. All right, tip number 3 is generalized. It's utilize potions and plants, and this means 2 things. A, it means make sure you have them with you, because if you're going into combat, they help a lot. But also, don't forget to use them in combat. A lot of people are going to default just to using your wand and casting spells because it's the main wizard thing. But the potions and the combat plants in this game are ridiculously useful. So you access them on here. I'm using a Xbox controller on PC, so you hold your left bumper and it gives you a wheel of ones to choose from. And you have the Venomous Tentacula, Chinese chomping cabbage, and mandrakes. Those are all plants that you can grow or pick from other places and use them in combat against your enemies, and they're all very effective. Then you have the invisibility potion, which turns you invisible for a very short amount of time. Basically, you just use it to get into certain chests. The thunder brew, which is a potion that creates a storm around you, and it will like shock enemies around you with lightning. The focus potion, which reduces your spell cooldowns, which is useful. Maxima potion, which increases the drinker's spell damage. And the Edurus potion, which gives you a higher defense because it covers your whole body in like rocks. And then on top of that, you also have the Wiggenweld potion, which is the health potion. And so the reason I bring this one up is because if you underestimate the effectiveness of these plants, you're missing out on a huge combat boon. So you can quickly like pull out a mandrake, which basically it'll break down all of your enemies' shielding. So if they're protagoing against you, the mandrake can quickly and easily get rid of that. And on top of that, if you use something like the Chinese chomping cabbage, you throw that out and it'll just munch on them. And so yeah, definitely don't forget to utilize the plants and potions because they are actually ridiculously useful. The reason I bring this one up is because I know that a lot of people, myself included, like I said, will tend more towards wand work than anything else. But you're missing out on a huge portion of some of the game's most entertaining combat aids if you do miss out on that. So yeah, like I said, those offensive plants and potions, make sure you pay attention to because they are useful. This next tip is a general one that I typically give out on all open world games, but it is pay attention to the fast travel system, but early game, don't use it a lot. So in Hogwarts Legacy, they have a really convenient fast travel system, and it's these flue powder locations. And you'll see, so they're these little flame icons, and any ones that are green are ones that I have discovered. And you discover them just by walking up to them. That's it. You don't have to do anything special. Once you get close enough to them, you will have discovered it. And so Hogwarts, the interior of Hogwarts is full of them, and the world outside has them all around. So basically what I recommend doing is if you're setting out, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go explore the world. I'm gonna take a break from missions and I'm gonna explore the world. I would set a waypoint to the flue powder network and make your way to it, and just keep doing that to discover the map and explore. And you'll through that way you will explore the entire world because they're scattered all around it, and you will then have unlocked the fast travel network. But don't use them early game because you want that organic discovery. You want to find chests, you want to find your field guide pages, and you can't do that if you're fast traveling everywhere. So yeah, this tip is just find all these because then when you're doing missions and you want to fast travel or whatever, you can conveniently then fast travel to a location. But you're not going to miss out on all of that content that you can only find by flying or walking. So yeah, find all of the flue powder locations, but don't use them early game. And my final tip for this video is don't skip side content. So the way that this game works is progressing through main story missions can lead you to missing valuable side content, which could include things that are really important like learning new spells. And once you've missed it, you might not be able to learn it for the entire rest of the game, so you might just flat out miss it. So the way that the story progresses in Hogwarts Legacy is not timed like a lot of people were worried, because they were worried that with a school game you would have, like, if you're not there in the morning for your class, you will miss the class or you'll get in trouble or something like that. It's not like that. Between main story missions, you've got unlimited time to explore the world and do all the side content you want. There is nothing that will happen if you don't progress to the next main story mission fast enough. But if you do progress to the next main story mission without doing the side missions, so things like helping out a friend find her gobstones or something like that, you might then miss that opportunity and you cannot go back and do it. So the way that it works is it's a narrative tool in here instead of a pacing tool. So you're playing throughout the school year. Time passes in the school year, and therefore the things that someone needs at any given time might not be the same if it waits. So certain missions, like there's one that I have active where you're running around finding a bunch of keys. That one you don't have to worry about as much, because that will be there as long as it takes you to do it, because it's a side content collectible type thing. Whereas a mission like I said, finding a gobstones for someone, or going with one of your friends to do some special mission which results in you learning a spell, especially Sebastian Sallow, because he teaches you a lot of spells. Stuff like that, if you miss it, you can miss it. As long as it's not a main story mission, which are signified by the gold coloring, it can be missed. So that's why I recommend playing it the way that I like to play open world games, which is you do a main story mission, and then you go through and you do all of the side content that you can find available before you do the next story mission. I know a lot of people may not like that method of playing a game like this, but it is definitely the most effective way to play this game, and the one where you're least likely to miss anything. So if you want to get the full experience out of this game, that is the way that I recommend doing it. So that is all 5 of my top 5 tips and tricks for beginners. Hopefully these make sense to you and have made it so that you will get as much enjoyment out of the game as possible. But that is all for today. Hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful, but we will see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you liked this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.